Learning goals. Welcome to this learning session on analyzing primary research evidence and conclusions. In this course, we shall address Introduction to Primary Research, Assessing Evidence Quality, Understanding Qualitative Evidence, Understanding Quantitative Evidence, Analysis, Conclusions, and Action.
Introduction to Primary Research Analysis. Analyzing primary research is crucial for refining your citizenship action, as it involves scrutinizing the answers gathered from your research questions. This process helps identify concrete evidence that can shape and improve your team's proposed initiatives. Understanding how to interpret both qualitative and quantitative evidence is fundamental to forming sound conclusions. Effective analysis ensures that your actions are not based on assumptions, but on verifiable data. For instance, in community development, analyzing resident feedback can reveal specific needs that might otherwise be overlooked, leading to more targeted and impactful projects. Aims of primary research. The primary aim of conducting original research is to gather specific information and evidence directly relevant to your citizenship action. This direct engagement allows you to discover unique insights that can significantly shape and focus your proposed initiatives. It moves beyond theoretical understanding to practical, real-world application. For example, if your action addresses local park maintenance, primary research might involve surveying park users about specific issues like litter or broken equipment. This direct feedback is invaluable, as it provides a current and localized perspective, often revealing details not found in existing reports or general statistics. Completeness and multiple viewpoints. It is essential to ensure your primary research is as complete as possible, gathering a broad spectrum of information. Real-world situations rarely present a single, unanimous viewpoint. Therefore, your research should aim to capture diverse perspectives. This comprehensive approach ensures that your proposed action is robust, capable of both supporting and challenging initial assumptions. For instance, a project addressing local traffic issues should include input from commuters, residents, local businesses, and even emergency services. Each group will offer a unique perspective, highlighting different aspects of the problem and potential solutions, which ultimately leads to a more balanced and effective strategy. Data quality and reliability. While collecting primary data, you will likely gather a large volume of information, but its quality will vary significantly. Some data will be highly useful and directly relevant to your objectives, while other portions may prove unreliable, irrelevant, or even misleading. Critically evaluating the source and context of each piece of information is vital. For example, a survey response from a well-informed expert is generally more reliable than an unsubstantiated claim from an anonymous online forum. Researchers often use methods like triangulation, comparing data from multiple sources, to enhance the validity and reliability of their findings, ensuring conclusions are based on robust evidence. The comprehensive process of collecting, sorting, and meticulously analyzing your primary data is rarely a linear path. This analytical journey often uncovers new insights, raises additional questions. The comprehensive process of collecting, sorting, and meticulously analyzing your primary data is rarely a linear path. This analytical journey often uncovers new insights, raises additional questions, or even challenges your initial assumptions. Consequently, you may find yourself persuaded to modify or significantly refine your proposed citizenship action. For example, if your initial action aimed to build a new community centre, but research reveals that residents prioritize renovating an existing, underutilized building, your action should pivot. This adaptability, driven by evidence, ensures that your efforts are aligned with actual community needs and have a higher chance of success. Understanding qualitative evidence. Qualitative evidence primarily deals with non-numerical data, focusing on understanding opinions, experiences, and perspectives. When compiled, this type of evidence reveals underlying themes, motivations, and the why behind certain behaviors or attitudes. It provides rich, descriptive insights that quantitative data often cannot capture. For example, in a study about public transport, qualitative data might include interviews where commuters describe their daily frustrations, the reasons they prefer certain routes, or their emotional responses to delays. This depth of understanding is crucial for designing solutions that truly address user needs, going beyond mere statistics. Qualitative evidence, facts versus opinions. When analyzing qualitative evidence, particularly from sources like community feedback on a congestion action, you'll encounter a mix of facts and opinions. While most residents might agree that something needs to be done about congestion, they often disagree on the specific solutions. It's common for responses to contain verifiable facts, but the majority will likely be subjective opinions, reflecting individual viewpoints. A critical challenge is distinguishing between what can be proved true, a fact, and what is merely someone's perspective, an opinion, especially when opinions are expressed as if they are facts. For example, traffic is always bad on Main Street is an opinion, while traffic volume on Main Street increased by 20% last year is a fact. Some opinions are more insightful than others, as some individuals may grasp the full complexity of an issue, while others focus solely on their personal grievances. Understanding quantitative evidence. Quantitative evidence involves numerical data that can be measured, counted, and statistically analyzed. This type of data allows you to quantify responses and identify patterns, trends, and correlations within your research. It provides objective, measurable insights into how many or how much of something exists. For example, if you're conducting research on public health, quantitative data might include statistics on vaccination rates, disease prevalence, or the number of people accessing healthcare services. This numerical precision is invaluable for establishing baselines, tracking progress, and making data-driven decisions, such as allocating resources to areas with the lowest vaccination rates. Quantitative evidence, examples and questions. When analyzing quantitative data, such as from a survey on criminal and civil law knowledge, you can count how many respondents answered questions correctly or incorrectly. This numerical breakdown allows you to identify specific areas where knowledge is lacking. For instance, a survey might reveal that 60% of respondents incorrectly identify the jurisdiction of civil law, highlighting a clear educational gap. These figures are crucial for establishing focal points for a presentation or an educational campaign. When evaluating quantitative data, always ask, what does the data actually show? Does it provide conclusive answers that directly support or refute your hypotheses? These questions ensure you interpret the numbers accurately and avoid drawing unsupported conclusions. 6 key questions for analysis. To effectively understand and shape your research evidence, consider these 6 key questions. They guide you through a comprehensive evaluation process, ensuring all angles are covered. What different points of view are represented in your data? What gaps in your current knowledge are revealed by the research? What other questions are raised that require further investigation or answers? Continuing the analytical process, are both qualitative and quantitative data present, and are they consistent with each other? Is any evidence irrelevant or unreliable, and should it be excluded? How does the collected data ultimately justify or inform your proposed action? Addressing these questions systematically strengthens your overall analysis and conclusions. Reaching a conclusion and planning action. After thoroughly analyzing your evidence, the next step is to synthesize your findings and formulate a clear conclusion that confirms or refines your action. Consider various methods for presenting your data, such as lists, charts, tables, or diagrams, to make your findings accessible and impactful. The goal is to weigh all the evidence objectively to determine the most logical conclusion it suggests. If the evidence indicates a need for adjustment, modify your action plan accordingly. This might involve identifying new steps required to achieve your revised action. Finally, allocate specific jobs and roles to your team members, ensuring that everyone's skills are utilized effectively to implement the refined plan. A well-structured plan, supported by evidence, is key to success. Primary versus secondary research. Understanding the distinction between primary and secondary research is fundamental to any citizenship action. Primary research involves collecting original data directly from sources tailored specifically to your research questions. Examples include conducting surveys, interviews, focus groups, or direct observations. This method provides first-hand insights and current information. In contrast, secondary research involves analyzing existing data that has already been collected by others. This can include reviewing academic papers, government reports, statistical databases, books, or articles. While secondary research offers a broad overview and historical context, it may not always be perfectly aligned with your specific research objectives. Both types of research are valuable and often used in conjunction to provide a comprehensive understanding of an issue.
Summary. Well done, you have completed the course Analyzing Primary Research Evidence and Conclusions. You should now be familiar with Introduction to Primary Research, Assessing Evidence Quality, Understanding Qualitative Evidence, Understanding Quantitative Evidence, Analysis, Conclusions, and Action. Should you need to revisit any of the topics in this course, please use the menu at the bottom of the screen.